Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. So I started this workout with some shoulder expansion exercise. I realized that my shoulders were not exactly even though, so I did 3 sets of that. Then we went straight into wrist stretches. I spent a lot of time here, did a lot of sets. I don't always do the back of the hand like I did right there, but I feel like balance is important. So yeah, sometimes I do the back of the hand, which is extremely painful. Anyway, just a lot of different stretches, not only stretches, but getting used to pressure, so putting my body weight on my wrists. This one is actually getting a lot better for me, this fingers back stretch. I couldn't even get to 90 when I first started out just over a month ago, so progress is being made, which is awesome. But anyways, these stretches still hurt. This one is not my full body weight, but it's pretty close. It's a push-up position. So this is a better angle. Right on the wrists, a little bit of side-to-side motion. Sometimes I do front and back, but I could only move it like, a couple inches and it really hurts. Today I didn't do any on just one arm. I felt like I wanted to do handstands after this, so I didn't want to totally destroy my wrists. So I think I held most of these for 60 seconds, and one of them, I don't think it was my last set, but in the middle I did one for 2 full minutes. So I'm making progress. For these handstand holds, the main thing I'm trying to do is put pressure on my wrist and keep my elbows straight. All other things are secondary, so I'm not really focusing on core, I'm not really focusing on legs, I'm not really focusing on my head or neck position. The main thing I want to do is put the pressure on the wrists and keep my elbows as straight as possible. And then in between sets, yeah, I did a bit of leg stretching. Here I have the hands turned out, which when I actually work on my handstands away from the wall, I'm probably not going to have my hands positioned like that. I'll probably put my fingers pointed a little bit more straight ahead. But just to get different angles of the wrist, I'm trying to put my hands, straight out to the sides. Because this is a new position for me, it's actually kind of painful. For some of you who've never had wrist surgery, I hope it's most of you, this might actually feel a lot easier than fingers forward. For most people, fingers forward feels a lot more painful, puts a little bit more strain on the wrist. But for me, both positions are, I would say, equally painful. I don't notice much of a difference in the pain level. And unfortunately, I can't get my arms closer together than that. Just due to wrist tightness. But the good thing is my holds are getting a bit longer. I had a clock under me for a while trying to look at it, but I figured it doesn't help me to look at the clock that much. I just go until I can't take it anymore, or until I feel like I've done enough damage to the area. But anyway, I'm trying to do things that are going to build the foundation for, very nice handstands in the future. Right now, I want to pull away from the wall. I want to, try to get a nice freestanding handstand. But right now, I'm just laying the foundation. Trying to get the arms, the wrists, the elbows perfectly straight. I think the muscle memory aspect of this is super important. So I don't know how long I'm going to do this for, but hopefully, it'll help me have a really straight, nice, gymnastics looking handstand. But yeah, this is hard for me. So, my face is beet red and I'm fighting through pain. May not look like it's painful, but my wrists are screaming at me. So hopefully you guys in your workouts, you're pushing yourself to your limit. Obviously this is something that you have to be careful about. We don't want to injure ourselves. I have injured my wrist in the past, pushing myself too hard. I sprained my wrist and had to take a break. So you got to be smart about your training, but you definitely have to push yourself to your limits, and sometimes even beyond those limits, to make progress. So that was it for the handstands. Then I just went into some basic body weight dips. I hadn't done these in a few days, and believe it or not, my shoulders were super sore. I don't know if it was just tightness or what it was, but this first set, I mean, my shoulders were just dying. I think I got 10 reps and I was like, okay, that's it for me. You know, I can do weighted dips, but when I don't do them for a while, or I don't stretch properly, or I don't warm up properly, man, I get really painful shoulders. Thankfully, the second and further sets didn't feel as painful. I think I got 15 on the second, and then, you know, I was slowly ramping up. I got up to like maybe 20 reps or something like that. I could probably clean up my form a little bit. I realized that. I could even throw some weight around my waist if I wanted. But right now, anyway, I'm happy with this workout. Again, this is all like laying the foundation. I'm working on basics here. Eventually, I want to, get more into planche training and amazing calisthenics skills. But I'm at the stage where, and I'm at the age where I feel like I have to lay down the foundation a little bit more. So yeah, I might be relatively strong. Especially for my age, but I'm trying to be smart about my training. I'm not as young as I used to be, so laying down the foundation, and hopefully I can, start working on planche. I don't know, it might take me 6 months, but the main thing I have to do is fix the wrists. So while I'm working on the wrists and the handstands, I'm throwing in basics like these dips. Here I'm trying to, keep the core slightly tight. And it would be good if I could straighten my legs, actually. If I had higher dip bars, that would be nice. I would probably point my toes to the front of me, or even lean my legs back a little bit and play around with my leg position a little bit more. Eventually it would be nice to do an LSIT dip. So here we go, last set. I even noticed that my arms they're not even, and that may be due to the shoulder surgery I had when I was younger. I should really look in the mirror when I do these to, keep things nice and balanced. So if you have a mirror or some way to look at yourself, just to keep things nice and even, keeps the body symmetrical and avoids further injury, maybe I'll do that moving forward. And here I'm really trying to slow down the negative and go a little bit deeper than I normally do. I don't want to do all my reps like that, but I do some of them nice and deep. LSIT holds on the floor, very challenging for me. Number one is the wrist. I get wrist pain. But number two, I don't think I have a strong enough core, or if it's the legs or something like that. I'm only able to hold it for about 5 or 10 seconds. 10 would be good. It's more like 5 seconds. If I have parallettes, I can probably hold it for like 20 seconds, maybe even more. The parallettes help a lot, but I feel like there's no point in cheating the exercise, so I'm doing it on the hands, because eventually I want to be able to do, LSIT to handstand, or, all these cool calisthenics moves that, link different moves together. So anyway, working on a lot of floor stuff, so handstands. This, not totally a pressing workout, but I would say heavily press focused or push focused workout, because I did pull yesterday. After this set, I went into my butterfly stretch, which is getting a lot better. I still have to use the wall, but each set I hold it for about 2 or 3 minutes. On my knees there, I've got 4 kilos. I'm trying to I guess you could say I'm, rotating my pelvis so that my groin pushes up. I know that seems kind of like a weird explanation. What is that? The posterior pelvic tilt is what I'm trying to do. Because when I'm anteriorly rotated, it puts all the strain kind of on the leg and right on the hip joint, like bone on bone. But if I posteriorly rotate, it sort of shifts everything to the groin area. Anyway, there we go. That's the workout. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something from that. Huge thank you for sticking around to the end, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.